Okay, hello, everybody. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time, my name is Jacob. If you are a regular viewer, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It is a pleasure, as always, to be with you here today. We have a lot to talk about. I'm really excited about this lesson. And I'll talk about what we're going to talk about in a second here. But first, if you are new, my name is Jacob and I am an online English teacher. I make these videos on my YouTube channel pretty regularly. The best way to follow me is to subscribe to my channel if you're new. Also, you can follow me on Facebook. I post about these live lessons when I'm going live, stuff like that on Facebook. So just go to Facebook, search Jacob Teacher, and you should find me. And if you are interested in becoming more fluent in English, I also have a free ebook available on my website, jacobteacher.com. The book is called 4 Things You Must Do to Get Better at Speaking English. And the link to download that is in the description below. Okay? So, welcome everybody. If you are just joining, let me know where you're watching from. We have Control Pump here, who says hi. Hello, Control Pump. Thanks for tuning in. And yes, as I said, we have a lot to talk about today. We're going to be talking about a very controversial rapper. If you've been watching me for a little while now, I've talked about the word controversial before, and it's going to be a very important word today, controversial. It means if something or someone is controversial, that person or that thing, they cause a lot of public disagreement about something. And usually that disagreement is really angry. Okay, so it's someone or something that causes a lot of angry disagreement among a lot of people. If you're a little unclear about the word, what it means exactly, just Google it quickly, search it in your native language and see what the direct translation is, because it's a very important word. In today's society, with all that's going on in the world, there is a lot of controversy everywhere you look, and it's going to be especially important in tonight's lesson, okay? So I'm just going to get set up here. And again, so this lesson is going to be a little different, actually. I have a lot to talk about. I hope that it can still be interactive and it can still be fun and that you can still participate a lot and ask a lot of questions, and that I'll be able to answer all of your questions. That's how my lessons have been in the past few times. I hope we can do that today. I do have a lot to talk about though, so if I don't get around to answering everyone's questions, I do apologize. And before we start talking about Eminem, I want to warn you that for those of you who do know him, he of course is a very controversial rapper. So we're going to be talking about things that might upset some of you, things that some of you may find offensive or difficult to hear. So just a warning, if you're someone who is easily offended, this may not be the best lesson for you. With that said, let's begin. This is how it's going to work. I'm going to give a quick introduction about Eminem, and after that we're going to look at 3 of his songs. Just short sections from each song, but we're going to look at 3 different songs. Van Tree Nguyen says hello, and hello to you too. Thank you for joining me tonight. Let's talk about Eminem. It's quite difficult to talk about Eminem. I was kind of frustrated while I was planning this lesson because there is so much to talk about when it comes to Eminem. He's produced so much work, so much has been said about him. He's very controversial. Lots of people have many, many different opinions about him. Uh, and it's difficult to kind of narrow your focus for a lesson like this and decide what to talk about. So I'll do my best here. I might have to, in the future, do another lesson on Eminem just because there is so much to talk about. And I do believe that there's so much to learn from his songs if you're an English learner. So let's take a look at Eminem as I switch screens here. Here we go. Now, when you hear the name Eminem, when most people hear the name, they have a reaction to it, some sort of reaction, whether that is admiration, whether they hear the name and they think, oh, I love Eminem, I feel really great about Eminem, or whether it is one of disgust. A lot of people think he is one of the most disgusting men on earth. So you feel something when we're talking about Eminem. A lot of people have a very big reaction, whether it's one of appreciation or one of hate. Okay? And hello to you too, Alva from Spain. Thanks for joining. Why do people have this reaction from or about Eminem? Why do people have this reaction about him? Well, for one, he says a lot of controversial things. Like I said, he writes some very, very troubling, disgusting songs, to be honest. They're very, very disgusting. He's written songs about killing his ex-wife, raping women, putting drugs in women's drinks and then raping them while they're asleep. Some really, really controversial, disgusting stuff to write about. So for one, people, they have this kind of reaction to Eminem because he says some things that are really shocking and gross, and they're hard to listen to at times. But in my opinion, there's a lot more to Eminem than just his ability to shock us with his lyrics. Okay, he does a lot more than just surprise us, say all of these disgusting things to make us angry. There's a lot more to him than that. And that is because when you listen to his music, the more you listen to him, you realize that he's really telling you the story of his life in his art. Throughout his career, he's talked about all of his struggles, all of the different, and he's had many, many, many struggles, especially starting in childhood. He had a very, very difficult life, which we will talk about a little later. But he teaches us about his life. He tells us about all the struggles he has in life. And I think that's why a lot of people really enjoy his art too. You get to see everything that he is going through in life. Another thing is that there appear to be many different sides to Eminem. So, for example, he has this side of him that writes these very disgusting, hard to listen to songs. Okay, so these are the songs that I mentioned about killing women, raping women. He has these songs. He writes these horrible, horrible things about women. At the same time, he is a father. And not only just a father, he seems to be a very loving father. He writes many, many, many songs about his daughter, about wanting to be the best father that he can be for his daughter. So there are these different sides of Eminem that we see in his music. And these different sides are really conflicting. They conflict with each other. They're not in agreement. And it makes it hard and interesting for us as his listeners to try and really understand who the real Eminem is. He seems to be this really complex person with all these different sides to him. And really, that's what all of us are like too. We are all of us very complex. We have all these different sides to us. And I think in his art, he expresses that. And a lot of people can relate to these different sides of wanting to be great, wanting to do these things. At the same time, having these inner struggles. So I think that's what a lot of people kind of enjoy about his music. One thing that I really enjoyed about Eminem when I was a kid, I've been listening to Eminem for a long, long time now. He was one of the first, his album was one of the first albums that I bought. And one thing that I really appreciate about his music is that he's very honest. He just says what he's thinking, he says what he believes, and he doesn't really care about the consequences. He just says what he believes, and he gets in a lot of trouble for it. Not so much trouble anymore now that he has been rapping for like 20 years, but when he was starting out in his career, he went through so much trouble for the things he said, and he was just saying them. He had all of these feelings, these really dark things to say, and he said them. And yes, a lot of the time they're really disgusting, they're gross, they're difficult to listen to, but they're real. They're inside of him. He thought of them, and he recorded them for us to hear. So at the very least, there's something that I think is really appealing about his honesty, his ability to just say what he thinks and to let us, his listeners, listen to it and judge for ourselves. Now, I want to, if you're listening right now, tell me before we start looking at Eminem's songs, tell me what you know about Eminem, if anything. Tell me if you like him, if you hate him, if you're a fan, what you're curious about. Just tell me whatever you know about Eminem, and I will check back on the comment section a little later. But let's answer the question first. Why should we study Eminem? I've got 3 reasons for you here that I've wrote down. The first one has to do with flow. Okay, so flow is something that is really important, especially in rap, in poetry too, in literature, but especially in rap. There's kind of a music to the lyrics themselves when people are rapping, right? When I say flow, I mean the sound of the rap, the sound of the lyrics, how they kind of connect together and flow throughout the song. Imagine a wave flowing through the ocean. That's what I mean by flow. And Eminem, his flow in particular is really, really unique. So he has just an amazing way, an amazing ability to put lyrics together, to kind of connect his lines in a way that just sounds really beautiful to our ears. So he's worth listening to just for that reason. For one, he has a very unique flow. The second reason, I think it's good to study, especially rap in particular, when you're learning English, because of contractions. Contraction is when you shorten a word in spoken English, just for the sake of ease. So a lot of times when we're speaking English, we shorten words. And this is very, very true in rap. It's also something that English language learners kind of struggle with. I've been asked many times before, when how do you know when people are contracting words? How can you tell? How do you know what contractions are what? It's very confusing for a lot of English language learners. So we're going to look at some contractions in Eminem's songs today that we will study, and I hope that this helps a little bit to understand when to use contractions, what kind of contractions are being used. Let's keep going with the third reason. I mentioned this earlier. Just to learn about his story. He is a fascinating person, at the very least. He's had a really, really difficult life. He's had to deal with so many different things that you could talk about it for days. He's had a really, really difficult life. He's experienced an amazing amount of success, obviously. But with that success, he has had absolute heartbreak and devastation in his life too. So, and what's brilliant about Eminem, what a lot of people appreciate about him, is that he tells this story in his raps. He tells us everything that's happening in his life in his music. And you can't really say that about artists in the same way you can about Eminem. Just the amount of detail and how explicit he is, how much he admits in his music. It's really quite amazing. So it's something that is interesting to listen to at the very least. Okay, Alan says, this is the first time I heard from Eminem from you, Jacob. Alan, that is surprising. He is a very popular rapper. If you're studying English, well, we'll study some of his music together. I've also included the links to 3 of the songs that we're going to talk about in this video. So the links to his songs, the ones that we will study in this video, are in the description if you want to follow it. I'd recommend let's study them together first. I'll explain the parts that we will look at, and then maybe after this lesson, you should go listen to these songs, and I hope that you'll be able to appreciate them more. Okay? Mahdi says, I've never listened about Eminem in the past 4 or 5 years, but he was popular in my country. Yes, he's popular all around the world. He is one of the most popular rappers for sure in the world. Sadawat says, I know him, but I don't know his songs. Okay, great. So a lot of people that aren't too familiar with Eminem. Let's talk about him. And let's learn some of his songs. I'll explain some of the language that he uses. Hello again from Japan. Hello to you too. Thank you for watching. The first song that I want to talk about is called The Way I Am. Once again, The Way I Am. Now, this song was released on Eminem's second really popular album. And it's in response to his popularity. So around the time that this song came out, a lot of people, a lot of the media, they were blaming some of the violent events that were happening in the world, in society, on people like Eminem, who talked about violence in his songs, who talked about all of these really difficult, kind of gross, disgusting things. And what happened was, for example, there was a shooting in Colorado, a school shooting. Eminem talks about it in this song accidentally. And some of the media, they were blaming the school shooting, they were blaming it on an artist who, similarly to Eminem, talks about difficult things in his songs. So the idea was that that kids, or people in general, who were doing these violent, terrible acts, who were shooting and killing people in real life, they would listen to Eminem, and people would argue that because they listened to Eminem, they went and did these terrible things. So Eminem is kind of responding to that idea, responding to that charge against him in this song, part of it at least. It's a very angry song. You'll notice if you listen to it after, it's very angry, the way he delivers his lyrics. And a lot of it is about expectations, what people expect of you when you're famous, and what your responsibility is as a famous person, what he feels in response to his fame, how he feels he should behave. Now, I'm going to show you a chunk means a part in English, a chunk. I'm going to show you a chunk of this song. It's going to look like a lot, but we will break it into smaller sections. And first, I'm going to read it for you, all of it, and I want you to listen to how it sounds when it's read fast. I'm not going to rap it for you, but I'm going to read it really quickly for you so that you can hear how the words connect. You can hear the flow of the lyrics. So let's listen to The Way I Am. Just give me a second here. Okay. So here we go. And all of this controversy circles me, and it seems like the media immediately points a finger at me. So I point one back at him, but not the index or pinky, or the ring or the thumb. It's the one you put up when you don't give a fuck, when you won't just put up with the bullshit they pull, because they full of shit too. Okay, so I hope you can hear just from me reading it how nicely these words, the sounds of the rhymes kind of fit together in an ongoing flow. And obviously when Eminem is rapping them himself, it sounds really, really amazing. It sounds beautiful, just the actual sound of his lyrics. Okay? Why don't you rap for us, says Satawat. Well, I'm embarrassed, Satawat. I'm shy. I'm a little bit of a shy person, believe it or not. But that's as close as I will come to rapping for you in this, at least now. So let's explore. Let's try and break down some of these lines. Okay? Let's look at the first one here, the first two. And all of this controversy circles me, and it seems like the media immediately points a finger at me. So all of this controversy, remember, controversy is something that causes a lot of disagreement among people. Controversy. So, like I explained, there are all of these things happening, all of these violent shootings happening in society, all of this violence happening, all of the things that Eminem says in his rhymes that he gets in a lot of trouble for. So there's all of this controversy that circles him. That's what he's talking about. All of this controversy around him. And he's saying, it seems like the media immediately points a finger at me. So when you point a finger at someone, there's the definition of controversy again. Point a finger means to blame someone for something. It's an idiom, quite a common idiom. When you point the finger at someone, point a finger at someone, it means you blame them for something. You're blaming that person for something that happened. So he's saying the media immediately, whenever there's a controversy, it feels like the media points the finger at him. They blame him. So what does he say? He says, so I point one back at him, but not the index or pinky, or the ring or the thumb. It's the one you put up when you don't give a fuck. Let's break that down. So here's an example of, oh, there we go. Here's an example of a contraction that I was talking about before. Contractions, okay? A contraction, again, you're shortening words. So you see, I point one back at M. M means them. He's contracting the word. I point one back at them. Them being the media, the mainstream media that is accusing him of all of these things. So I point one back at him. And this is quite a common contraction, not just in rap music, but in spoken English too. Sometimes when we are speaking, we shorten the word them to M. Okay? These other words, you may not recognize them, but they're really, really easy. The index, the pinky, the ring, or the thumb. So these are just the names of different fingers, right? This is my index finger. This is my pinky. This is what we call the pinky. This is the ring finger. You call it the ring finger because you put, when you get married, traditionally, you put the ring on your left ring finger, this finger, and this is the thumb. So he's saying, let's review. He's saying, they're pointing a finger at me. They're blaming me. So I'm pointing a finger back at them. Not the index, not the pinky, not the ring finger, not the thumb. It's the one you put up when you don't give a fuck. So he's putting up his middle finger and he's saying, fuck you, I don't care. Don't give a fuck means don't care. You don't care about the consequences. You just don't care. And you'll likely hear this line replaced with different swear words. So don't give a fuck. You'll likely hear it replaced with don't give a shit, don't give a damn. You can replace it with different swear words, and it means the same thing. It means don't care. You don't give a crap about anything. You don't care. So he's saying the media is blaming me, and I'm saying, F you, I don't care. I don't care at all. Okay? Let's keep going. When you won't just put up with the bullshit they pull, because they full of shit too. Now, remember, this is a continuation of the last verse. So he's talking about the finger that you put up when you don't give a fuck, and when you won't just put up with the bullshit they pull, because they full of shit too. So lots of swearing here, I know. This is Eminem. He swears a lot in his raps. All of his raps are full of curse words. And I mean, curse words, they don't sound great all the time. Sometimes they can be used to enhance language. They can be used for comedy and they can sound really great. But if they're used too much, they kind of make you sound bad and not really great. So I'm using them in this song, and I think it's good to know about swear words when you're learning language, because it's a part of language. But just be careful. Try not to swear too much. It doesn't sound so great. Try not to swear like Eminem does, unless you're going to be a big rap star and make millions and millions of dollars. Then do whatever. Okay. So, put up. Here's a nice phrasal verb. Put up with. Put up with means accept something or someone. So right now, I've talked about it before. I have to put up with the construction that's happening outside my house. There's a lot of noise that's going on constantly. There's all of this noise in the morning, and I have to put up with it. It means I have to accept it. When you can't put up, or when you won't put up, in this case, it means you won't accept it anymore. Something has to change because you won't accept it. So that's a nice phrasal verb. While you're listening, because I've been talking so much, try and use this phrasal verb in a sentence. Maybe when or what is something in your life that you won't put up with? What is something that you won't accept? Tell me in the comment section, and I will read your sentences and try and correct them. So, what is something that you won't put up with? Pull, in this case, it's kind of an informal way of saying do something. So something that requires planning. It's a little difficult to understand here, but when someone is trying to do something, when they're planning to do something, you can say, what are you trying to pull? To pull means just to do in this situation. And it does come up. It is kind of common to use it that way. So let's look at what he's saying here. The bullshit they pull. Bullshit means nonsense, just stupid things. Bullshit, they're doing stupid things. So when you won't put up, when you can't accept all of the bullshit they're trying to do, when you won't put up with it anymore. Because they're full of shit. Again, he's talking about the media here, the mainstream media who's blaming him. He's saying they're full of shit, they're not true, they're dishonest. Full of shit, that's what that means. When someone is full of shit, it means that it's wrong, it's not true, it's dishonest, it's a lie. That's what full of shit means. Okay? That is it for The Way I Am. And again, the link to that song, if you want to listen to it, is in the description of this video. We're going to move on to the next song now. Okay, here comes Alan with another sentence. When someone trying to put up my apologies about mistakes or my mistakes, I really appreciate them. Great, generous personalities. Put up apologies. To put up with my apologies. Okay. I think I understand what you're saying, Alan. So when someone puts up with you or deals with your mistakes, when you apologize and people are able to put up with you, you feel generous, you feel grateful. Okay, so that's good. You're grateful for people who can put up with you. Hopefully you're not too difficult to deal with. Okay, we have another sentence from Satawat. I won't put up with my bad English. Excellent sentence. I love the positive attitude. Keep practicing, and your English will become better. Keep watching these videos, and yeah, you're doing great work. That's a great sentence, so that's good to see. Now, let's keep going. The next song that I want to look at is called Cleaning Out My Closet. Cleaning Out My Closet. This is another rather angry song, a really heavy song. Sometimes we use the adjective heavy in English to talk about something that is really emotional. So this is a very emotional song. It is a heavy song. It deals with a lot of really strong emotions. I'm just going to check back on the chat room. I got a smiley face. Okay, I'll smile back at you, Satawat. So, cleaning out my closet. Now, there's an idiom in English, skeletons in the closet. And this is quite a common idiom. It's a well-known idiom. It means when you have bad secrets, okay? So all of us have skeletons in our closet. We have things that are secrets about us that if people knew, it would make us feel really uncomfortable and make us look really bad, maybe. This is what it means to have skeletons in our closet, inside of us, in our closet. So cleaning out my closet then. In this song, Eminem, he's cleaning out his closet. He's letting us see all of the skeletons in his closet. That's what he's talking about. Particularly in this song, he's talking about childhood. Now, I mentioned in the introduction, he had an incredibly difficult childhood, especially in regard to the relationship that he had with his mother. They were constantly moving from house to house. They were moving all over the place. They didn't have a lot of money. He never knew his father, so the relationship with his mother was quite difficult. And he's talking about this, in particular, his relationship with his mother in this song. So same thing, I'm going to read you a chunk of this song, Cleaning Out My Closet. And again, listen to how it flows. Listen to his genius of his ability to put words together in a way that just flows really in a way that I've never heard anyone else do. So it's quite amazing. I'll read them and I'll try and get the flow down too. Here we go. But put yourself in my position. Try to envision witnessing your mama popping prescription pills in the kitchen, bitchin' that someone's always going through her purse and shit's missing, going through public housing systems, victim of Munchausen syndrome. My whole life I was made to believe I was sick when I wasn't, till I grew up, now I blew up. It makes you sick to your stomach, doesn't it? It's even really difficult just to try and read fast. So to actually rap this over a beat, incredibly difficult. It's amazing that someone can do this. Let's break this down again. Let's go through the first verse here. So, put yourself in my position. This is a very helpful phrase to know, and it just means try to imagine what it is like to be me, okay? Try and imagine what it was like to be Eminem. He's saying, imagine if you were me, put yourself in my position. Try to envision witnessing your mama popping prescription pills in the kitchen. So we have two more contractions here, and these are only contractions that you will see in rap. So try to envision witnessing. To witness is to see something happen. So you can witness a car accident, for example. If you witness a car accident, you see it happen. And pop pills means to just take pills, but we specifically use the word pop when talking about like taking drugs. So if the pill you're taking is recreational, is for recreational purposes. If you're just trying to get high, you say pop pills. A lot of people will say pop pills. So he's saying try to envision, try to imagine. Envision just means you can think of it as use your vision. Imagine what it would be like to witness, to see your mom pop prescription pills in the kitchen. So to see your mom take drugs in the kitchen in front of you. And this was true. His mom did do this in front of him. She was regularly on drugs. And it was quite a difficult situation. So he's still talking about trying to get us to imagine his situation here, and he's talking about his mom. Bitchin' that someone's always going through her purse and shit's missing. Going through public housing systems, victim of Munchausen syndrome. Okay, so there's a lot going on here. Bitchin' just means complaining in this sense. So when you bitch, you complain about something. You can use bitch as a verb here, as kind of slang, as a swear word. When someone is bitching a lot, they are complaining. That's what that means. So he's talking about his mom complaining that someone's always going through her purse. So going through, it's a phrasal verb here that means searching through the purse. So his mom is paranoid. She thinks that someone is always going through the purse, and shit is missing. Shit can just mean stuff sometimes. So stuff is missing. Something is missing. So imagine his mom is going through, she's taking all these drugs. She's going through her purse, or she believes that someone is stealing her stuff from her purse. She's going a little crazy, being a little paranoid. Going through public housing systems. So public just means government funded. And he's talking about very poor areas here. So government or public housing systems, it's typically a very poor neighborhood for people who can't afford their own places. They need government, publicly funded houses to live in. And this was true of Eminem. Throughout his childhood, he was very, very, very poor. Now, of course, he's incredibly wealthy and rich, but he was very poor before. And Munchausen's syndrome. So this is a psychological condition. It's quite disturbing, and he's saying his mother had this, and it's true that she did have this. What Munchausen syndrome is it's a condition, and typically single mothers experience this. Not typically, but most commonly, single mothers, they are most likely to suffer from this condition. And what it is you imagine that one of your kids is sick, or you invent kind of a sickness for attention. So his mom would take him and his younger brother to the doctor and try to convince the doctor and the kids that the kids were sick. She did this in order to get attention for herself. So it's a very, very strange and very troubling condition. So he's saying in this rhyme that he was a victim of Munchausen's syndrome. That's what it is. So his mom would do this. She would take them to the doctor and try to convince them that they were sick, that they were unhealthy. Let me just check back on the chat room. Clandestine means the same as skeletons in the closet. Clandestine. Let me just look up clandestine again. It's been a while since I've used that verb, Alan, but I don't believe It's yeah, clandestine's a little different. So it still has to do with secrets, Alan, clandestine, but it's more for illegal purposes. So clandestine, there's usually illegal activity involved. Skeletons in the closet is more just kind of personal secrets that we have to deal with. If we have skeletons in our closet, we have secrets about us that are really disturbing for us. So they're similar in ways, you're right, but they are quite different. Okay, let's keep going. Great question, Alan. Thank you for the question. Let's keep going. My whole life I was made to believe I was sick when I wasn't. Till I grew up, now I blew up. It makes you sick to your stomach, doesn't it? Okay. So till, here's a very, very common contraction. We use this all the time in spoken English. It means just until. So until I grew up. Now grew up means got older. When you grow up, you become older. So a nice phrasal verb to know there. And we use that phrasal verb very, very often. Well, blow up, you can see he's using blew up here. Blew is the past tense of blow. Blow is an irregular verb. And blow up just means become really, really popular, really fast. Okay, so Eminem, he blew up when he was a young rapper. He gave his CD to a man named Dr. Dre, or he was invited to meet a very famous rapper named Dr. Dre. And they started working together, and Eminem blew up. He became really, really, really popular really fast. Right now in Korea, there's a popular K-pop group named Twice, and they blew up recently. Over the last year, they've blown up. So that's what that phrasal verb means. So again, he's talking about Munchausen syndrome before. He was made to believe he was sick when in reality he wasn't. He wasn't sick. So his mom is trying to make him believe that he's sick, but he's not. Until he grew up and then blew up, it makes you sick to your stomach, doesn't it? So he's saying because he's famous now, because he's so popular, he's talking about his mom again. He's saying it makes you sick to your stomach. It makes you angry. Sick to your stomach in this sense, it means angry, like physically sick because you're so angry, okay? So another really angry song by Eminem, but again, after this lesson, listen to these songs that I've left in the description. I hope that you'll be able to appreciate them more, especially when you hear him rapping them in real time. I've got one more song. For you that I want to look at. Alan says, to understand Eminem, you need really perfect English and also information about medicine and philosophy. With a lot of songs, with a lot of literature, Alan, they use more difficult language, or at least language in rap songs that is more colloquial. Colloquial means kind of everyday spoken English. So that can be more difficult. I agree with you, yes. And they do make a lot of references to different things. So it is quite difficult. This is an advanced lesson. It really is. I do think that you should be able to learn a lot of valuable things from these rappers, though, from looking at how this language is used in art. So that's what I wanted to do here. Hello, Omar. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the comment. I've got one more song that I want to look over with you. And it is called, just the chorus from this song. The song is called When I'm Gone. Now, this is at least the part that we will look at, it's more uplifting, more positive, I think, at least. So this song is about balancing family and career. And this is one thing that we talk about in life. In life, you have many different things, family, friends, work. We have all of these different things, and it's very hard to balance spending time doing these different things. So, uh, especially imagine if you are famous, if you are traveling all over the world, performing to millions and millions of people. It can be quite difficult to balance that with a family. And that's what Eminem is talking about here. Now, in this song, he talks about a dream that he has. He has a dream where he has to work, he has to do all of these things for his career, for his rap career, but he's neglecting. The verb neglect means not pay attention to, so not spend time doing something. He's neglecting his family. And he keeps having this dream where his daughter is asking him to stay, begging him, saying, "Dad, please stay with me. Don't go run off and be a rapper. Don't travel again. Like, please stay with me." He keeps having this dream. And in this dream, he keeps going back to his career. He has another show that he has to perform. He keeps choosing his career. And in this song, there's a course that I will read to you in a second. A lot of people, they disagree about what this song is about exactly. So I will give you my interpretation, and I think I'll read it first and then I'll give you my interpretation after. So again, I will read it at full speed and try and appreciate how it sounds when it's all blended together. When I'm gone. And when I'm gone, just carry on, don't mourn, rejoice every time you hear the sound of my voice. Just know that I'm looking down on you smiling, and I didn't feel a thing, so baby, don't feel no pain, just smile back. Okay. So, when I'm gone, we use this phrase, let's talk about when I'm gone first. When I'm gone, we use this phrase to mean when we're no longer here. So, for example, this will be kind of a dark example, but my grandma, she loves Russian literature. She's from Russia. She has tons of Russian literature, all of these books in her apartment. And she knows that I love Russian literature too. So she's told me before, she has said, when I'm gone, these books will belong to you. I'm going to give you all of my books. So it means when I'm gone, when I'm no longer here. We talk about death in that way sometimes. When I'm gone sometimes means when I'm dead. But just generally speaking, when I'm no longer here. What Eminem means here, when I'm gone, I think he means he's talking both to his daughter and to his fans. He's saying, when I'm not here anymore, whether he means when he's dead or when he's just not famous anymore, when he's gone, when he's no longer here, just carry on. Carry on is a phrasal verb. It's a really good phrasal verb to know. It's quite common. And it means keep doing what you're doing. Keep living your life. So don't stop what you're doing. Carry on. Continue doing what you're doing. Don't mourn. To mourn means to grieve. When someone dies, we mourn their loss. We focus on it. We feel really, really sad because they've died. We mourn. So that verb, mourn, is always used to talk about loss, especially when it comes to death. Rejoice. Rejoice, here's a nice vocabulary word. Rejoice means feel happy, celebrate, rejoice every time you hear the sound of my voice. So he's saying, when I'm gone, when I'm not here anymore, don't mourn, don't be sad, don't focus on the negatives, don't be sad. Rejoice, feel happy when you hear my voice. So in his recordings, maybe, when you listen to him, feel happy about him. When he's no longer there and you hear his songs again, rejoice, feel happy, celebrate his voice. Just know that I'm looking down on you smiling, and I didn't feel a thing, so baby, don't feel no pain, just smile back. So, I didn't feel a thing. This is another common phrase that we use when we're saying, I didn't feel a sensation. I didn't feel anything happen. So it seems like he's talking about pain here. And you can say that especially when you're talking about pain. If you don't feel it, you can say, I didn't feel a thing. I didn't feel any pain. You can also use it. So here's an example. Imagine that there's an earthquake at night and you sleep through the earthquake and you don't feel it. You could say, oh, I didn't feel a thing. I didn't feel a thing. It's a very natural way of saying that. So if you use this phrase, you're going to sound like a native English speaker. It's quite common to use. It's a really good phrase to know. So baby, don't feel no pain, just smile back. Again, this is just, to me, an uplifting song. It makes you feel good. He's talking about when he's no longer here, he doesn't want you to mourn his loss. He wants you to feel good about him, about the things that he did, about all that he tried to do. Rejoice in everything that he did, in the sound of his voice. Okay, so it's an especially nice song to listen to if you're dealing with something difficult in your life, especially if you've lost someone recently. Lost someone means usually when someone has died. So I've read a lot about people online who have lost people in their lives and who have listened to this song and as a result have felt better because of it. Okay, I've been talking for a long time now. It's been like 52 minutes. I did think that this was going to be a long lesson when I started. So let me just check back on the chat. Sorry, I've been talking for a long time. Omar, I'm doing great today, my friend. Thank you for asking. If you want my help, please. Okay, you want to improve your pronunciation. The only way you're going to do that, my friend, is by practicing speaking English, listening to native English speakers speak and trying to imitate that, speaking with native English speakers. Pronunciation is very important, but speaking practice. Just speak, and you will improve. It's just a matter of practice, my friend. Keep your head up. That's an English phrase that we use. It means, don't worry, you will be okay. You're going to get better. Just keep practicing. Okay. Van Tree Nguyen says, do you like K-pop music? Twice, for example. I typically don't like K-pop music, but I am a fan of Twice. I do like Twice. I think that some of their songs are really, really catchy. Catchy is, in English, it means they stick in your head. You hear their songs, and then you can't forget their songs. They're always in your head. So Twice's songs are very catchy. I do think they're catchy. Alan says, the lyrics of his songs are written by himself or someone else wrote for him? So Alan, that's a really good question because a lot of artists, they don't write their own songs, but Eminem is famous for writing all of his music. As far as I know, he writes all of his songs. Everything that he has ever written, he wrote himself. So it's really quite amazing because he has so many songs, like hundreds and hundreds of songs that he has recorded, and they're really, really, really long. The songs that we studied today, or the small sections that we looked at, those are just, it's a tiny paragraph in one song, so they're really, really, really long. Okay? Omar says, I want someone to speak with me. I cannot do that just alone. Omar, I wish I could help you more with that right now. I am working, so for everyone listening right now, I am working on putting together speaking classes. That's something that I'm planning right now. they should be ready to test out. I want to test out this idea that I have pretty soon. So here's what I'll say again. If you're watching this right now, sign up for my mailing list. And the way that you do that is by downloading my free ebook. The link is in the description. Once you're on my mailing list, you'll hear about all of these things that I'm planning. So very, very soon, hopefully in the next few weeks, I'm going to be emailing my subscribers and asking people to test out a speaking class with me that I want to run. So I hope that helps, Omar. For me personally, with me, you'll just have to wait a little bit. But I understand that learning a language is it can be very frustrating, especially if you don't have someone to practice with. But keep your head up, my friend. Keep practicing. Even, you know what, when I was learning Korean, I'd speak to myself in my apartment. It sounds really silly. I talk about this in my ebook, but I'd honestly just speak to myself and try, and even if you can hear the actual words coming out of your mouth, it helps a little bit. So I know it may sound a little silly to you, but try speaking to yourself a little bit. There are plenty of groups online available for that match people up who are trying to learn English. If you want, send me a message after and I'll send you information about that. Other than that, it has been a pleasure speaking with all of you. That is all the time I have for tonight. I hope that was helpful. I know it was kind of a difficult lesson. It was quite advanced, so really, really great job to all of you. Thanks for sticking with me. Thanks for watching tonight. And yeah, I will see you. That's the last live lesson that I'll do this week, but I'm going to try and keep doing these lessons on Tuesday and Thursday, I think. Maybe Tuesday and Friday, we will see. But the best way to find out about my live lessons is to follow me on Facebook, okay? Follow me on Facebook. I announce everything there. Subscribe to my YouTube channel too if you haven't already. And if you enjoyed this lesson, give me a nice thumbs up. Click the thumbs up button for me. I would highly appreciate it. It helps me. So that's everything for today. Thank you all so much. I look forward to seeing all of you again in the next live lesson. Have a great morning, great afternoon, great evening, wherever you are. Make sure to listen to those Eminem songs now that you understand them a little better. And I will see you later. Bye-bye.